Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are continuing into Tyrion Cuthbert. Last time we finished up the RNA case. Technically, we didn't get a conviction against Lloyd Von Sanctus, but at least Dracogen isn't found guilty. And let's hope that, the opinion of the people means, we get to the French. Let's continue into the new case. In the kingdom of Wyverngard, there was a gulf between what was lawful and what was just. Here, ideals were just fairy tales. They were pleasant to think about, but they distracted from how the world really was. You're naive, but I've been starting to think that if everyone else was like you, the world wouldn't be the way it was. But the world was the way it was, not even you, with all your divine special powers. I mixed that up and it's fine. Could change that. I can't believe Cuthbert used the Eye of Horus on the client. He's becoming more and more reckless, and I think McCoy is just making him worse. I wonder what he was like with his real mother. He's definitely nothing like Ryan was. Is Ryan his dad? Adopting him was a mistake. Ruby. That kid would have been dead by now. Is something wrong, Tamora? No, it's nothing. Well, the trial is about to begin, and all of our futures are at stake. Of course, miss. Actually, what do you go by now? I prefer just Beatrice, but they'll be using my legal name anyway. Beatrice muttered some kind of mantra before clapping her hands together. She'd been doing that a lot since we'd met. Must have been some kind of meditative ritual for her. I couldn't help but side-eye Eris. I was a little annoyed with how careless she was being. Is something wrong, Tamora? I'd just like to know what you're doing here. My father sent me to accompany Beatrice to the courthouse. It's a new environment for her. We do need to keep her condition in mind, after all. I wasn't so convinced. Her father had a lot more sense than that. Wait, is this entire case going to be from Ruby's POV? Because we've been getting all of these from Tyrion. Or is this going to be, like, Ruby's primarily the one being the defendant, or the attorney, and then it's Tyrion's, like, assisting? Not to mention that Eris always, like, stirring up trouble. Also, the fact that, like, Eris and her dad seem to be, like, potentially connected with Ruby, which is just all of this is just, I'm getting really excited about the political intrigue. She took a lot of pleasure in complicating my job. It was apparently her favorite pastime. And the boss, doting father that he was, just let her do as she pleased. I hope you understand how much you're risking by being seen with me. You were already pushing it when you approached us at the academy. Don't you think you're worrying too much? You've been preparing for this, haven't you? Wait, could this be the one where we kill, like, Ruby dies? Just keep your head low and make sure no one connects you to your father. You know how important this trial is. Why? Would knowing my true identity cause friction with your son? He's not my... Oh, speak of the devil. Spotted Cuthbert and McCoy walking into the courtroom with the other members of the gallery. I guess after our little argument, he wanted to see how this trial would turn out. McCoy spotted me and gave me a friendly yet uncomfortable smile. Wait, could this potentially be because of, like, things getting too personal between Tyrion and Celeste? Could that also be an issue? Because we did have that realization where Tyrion was like, I think I have feelings for Celeste. Cuthbert froze a moment before looking away and walking silently into the courtroom. Parental troubles? We had a disagreement earlier. It's nothing to worry about. If you say so. I was worried about what he saw in Beatrice's mind. He'd always been a good kid, but he was also really stubborn and clouded his judgment sometimes. He hadn't been practicing law for very long. It didn't help that his string of victories was getting to his head. He's had 2! That's not a string. That's 2. One of which was very obvious, and the other one was like... I'm not sure with, Headmaster, if that one was as obvious. Like, Von Sanctus was obvious, we just didn't have enough proof. And we're just gonna hope that the French of the Orne do their job. But I was sure that once he'd seen enough of what the courts were really like, he'd understand why I needed to do this.
The trial is about to begin. Do you really have time to be making small talk here?
Prosecutor Steelwind approached the three of us, tailed by a familiar face. What are you doing here, Wallace? Wallace Nightgrave.
He's accompanying me as my aide for this case.
What?
So,
I can assume you'll be prosecuting.
Of course, I would never pass up the opportunity to face the infamous Ruby Tamora.
Really? If I remember correctly, you haven't even beat Tyrion once so far. Oh, it seemed that struck a nerve. I may be able to use that later. Miss Stillwood, don't strain yourself.
What's that look for, Beatrice? You seem almost surprised to see me here.
Considering the circumstances, I thought you might recuse yourself.
I am more than capable of remaining objective, especially for a case of this much importance.
Well, I hope your mind is as strong as you think it is. Miss Steelwood! Nightgrave looked unusually reprimanding and concerned for her. He was really averse to a confrontation, wasn't he?
Oh, I love a good reunion.
The deck was already stacked in our favor. I just needed to follow through and get this over and done with. After all, we'd finally have everything we needed to topple the 4 pillars. Wait, is Ruby working with Eris and like her father and all that? But like, God, I want to get into all of like the political aspects, and I'm like, wait, I need to actually get through this, and then we can figure this out instead of trying to figure it out beforehand. Someone please stop me. Court is now in session for the trial of Beatrice Frega. Oh, we got a Frega. Miss Steelwind, is the prosecution ready?
Oh, the prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense is also ready, Your Honor. She definitely looked less assured than usual. Her history with Beatrice might be throwing her off. Very well, let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, could you please list the charges?
Your Honor, the defendant is charged with first-degree murder and grand theft. As many of you know, Beatrice Frega is the formerly missing daughter of the now late William Frega.
William Frega died? When did that happen? He was still alive. Wait. Is this... Wait. He was alive at the end of the last episode?
And the victim of the murder is William Frega himself.
Yes, I'm well aware of that. The people of Beauregard will certainly mourn the loss of House Frega's head. Please, the only people who mourned him were the banking house shareholders. On that matter, did you also say that the defendant is accused of grand theft?
Yes, Your Honor. The crimes took place during the Lord's Ball, an event that was hosted in the Frega Manor yesterday evening. The Haraldson Hall of History was hosting an exhibit within the manor. They were showcasing several magical artifacts donated to the Wyvern Guard Historical Society. One of these items was the Sword of Spell Eating, a magical artifact that allows its wielder to nullify magical effects.
When wielded by a creature, that creature and anything connected to them physically or magically are immune to all harmful magical effects. Legends say that this was forged through a blood contract between a mage and a demon. The fact that that literally just looks like a sword that you slapped a red overlay over is... It's a choice. Mainly just because I'm like, the blade can be red, and that's fine, but I feel like having the hilt kind of just makes it look more like again, it's just me. But I get it that it's supposed to look ominous and everything, but I think the fact that it's like all the same color just makes it not as intimidating.
The prosecution believes that the defendant stole this item to break into the victim's study, which was secured with a magical lock. After breaking into the study, she attacked the victim and slashed his throat open using a letter opener.
But she had the sword in her hand. Why didn't she use the sword? So she uses the sword to break the lock, but then gets a different weapon to cut his throat open.
He died of blood loss shortly after.
Why switch your weapon? The sword is a lot... I mean, granted, I don't know if you can necessarily, you could definitely use the sword to slice someone's neck, but like also you can like just stab, and then you're not gonna necessarily get a carotid artery, or like an artery, and then you're gonna be able to let them die more slow and painfully. I'm just saying. Died 3:12 a.m. Blood loss after his throat was slashed open. Both carotid arteries were severed. Yeah, again. What? Like, I don't know. I'm just like, we know that all the house leaders are the kind of like dicks, but it's like, wouldn't, like, depending on what William did to Beatrice, which makes it sound probably 10 times worse than it will actually end up being, like, wouldn't you want him to suffer more? I'm just saying. Also, the body shows several scratch marks on the face and back. Traces of illusion magic were also found on the body. The fact that you struggled, you had a sword, but you chose to switch your weapon and have a struggle does not make sense. I see. Does the prosecution have a motive?
William Frago and his daughter were not close. Saying that they had a strained relationship would be an understatement. In fact, 5 years prior to the murder, Beatrice abandoned and fled her home. She went into hiding and cut contact with all of her friends and family. Her whereabouts were unknown until she contacted her father a week ago.
Objection!
My client left the Fraga household because of her toxic relationship with her father. She wanted to create a life for herself that was free from his influence and abuse. I won't disagree with your claims, but that simply highlights how desperate the defendant must have been.
But did she steal anything? We haven't got to the fact that she supposedly stole something. And also, why didn't she steal this money when she left 5 years ago?
She had clearly fallen on hard times and begrudgingly contacted her father for financial aid. I have no idea why they would schedule this meeting during the yearly Lord's Ball, but nevertheless, several witnesses did see her that night. And these same witnesses saw her storming out of her father's study in anger.
At what time?
Her father must have refused her request for aid, so she decided to murder him to claim his inheritance.
Yeah, but like, if she wanted to be free of him, but wanted his money, why didn't she just kill him the first 5 years? And then claim that, set up this whole ruse of being kidnapped, and then, just had the money and, off in, like, Luminia. I don't know if that's where she would have gone, but, like, seriously, like, if she had enough dirt, I'm sure they would have taken her in. Just made sure that she wasn't a spy. She was like, yeah, I'm ready to betray.
It's a good thing we prepared for this.
Okay, went into hiding. William Fraga told Miriam Fraga that he would remove Beatrice from the will. She wouldn't receive any inheritance after death.
What you're saying is all conjecture, Steelwind. You don't have any evidence to confirm whether my client contacted her late father. Yes, I'm well aware that the defendant has refused to tell us what they discussed. And be honest, Steelwind, do you really think my client committed these crimes in spite of her condition?
Condition? What do you mean by that, Mr. Mora?
Why don't you tell him, Steelwind? Tell the court about my client's disability. Your Honor, Beatrice is legally disabled. However, legally disabled? That's a convenient way of putting it, Steelwind. My client is completely blind.
Completely blind? Is this true?
We have several medical documents and testimony from several chirurgeons.
I guess that's right. Attesting to that fact. I don't know if that's a word that they created for this, because I see like surgeon, but I'm like shidu or cheer. So I don't know if that's specifically someone that is like a surgeon, like focused on like, retina surgery or eye surgery or anything like that, because still the idea of like I have glasses. I'm like blind enough where it's like I have like, a mark on my license. But it's like one of those things where it's like the entire idea of getting like, what is the surgery that lets you see again? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank to it. but it's like they like fix like your vision and whatnot. Like that terrifies the ever-living shit out of me. Contacts terrify the shit out of me. So I imagine like any surgery to do to like repair like the vision and whatnot is probably a very specific niche as opposed to just surgeon. But I don't know if that's specifically like pertaining to that or if it's just like, hey, we created this thing for the world. I don't know. My client is unable to see anything. She's completely blind, unable to see through her eyes. Verified. What is the meaning of this, Miss Steelwind? You expect me to believe that a blind woman performed any of the acts you're accusing her of? I'm glad you also see how ridiculous these claims are, Your Honor.
If the court would just let me elaborate.
Your Honor, the prosecution's first charge is grand theft. My client would have needed to break into a display that was magically secured. Performing such an act would be difficult for anyone, much less my client. And the second charge is first-degree murder. My client would have needed to use the restorative spell eating on the lock leading to the victim's study. Then she would have had to grab the letter opener, overpower the victim, and delivered a precise and fatal blow to the victim's neck. That's why it was like it's not necessary. Like if she had kept the same thing, if she had just kept the same weapon, then it's like potentially and just stabbed. Then it could have been like she just stabbed anyone, and I was like, oops, that's Papa. But the fact that it was like it sliced both of the arteries, like I assume you have to get real good. I don't like thinking about it because like I could just imagine too well just it slicing and just it kind of gives me a little bit of the heebie-jeebies. Does any of that sound like a reasonable theory, Your Honor? I'm compelled to agree with you, Mr. Mora. It all sounds quite ludicrous, to be honest. This is just awful. The Steelwinds have always been at odds with the Fregas. You're just taking advantage of the Duke's death.
Objection! Enough. Your Honor, the court has not seen the evidence that supports this case. Nor have you listened to the Inquisition's testimonies regarding their investigation. Until you have done so, you are in no position to pass judgment.
Very well, Miss Steelwind. I guess the little lady had some claws after all. But it didn't matter. Their case against Beatrice was questionable at best. Frankly, it was surprising that Steelwind even went through with this. It was only a matter of time before the judge saw things my way.
To begin, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orm White to the stand. Commander White, please testify to the court about the Inquisition's findings.
Right. We didn't want to cause panic after the sword was stolen, so we activated the manor's silent security system and put an anti-magic field over the entire manor. In a search of the house, we found the stolen sword in the defendant's bedroom. It looked like she was going to run, and Crown Prince Astor told us to stand down, so we just kept a close eye on her. William Frege was in a bad mood that night. He already locked himself inside his study. An hour later, we entered his study and found him dead lying in a pool of his own blood. The lock was still engaged, and no one teleported in. The perp must have temporarily disabled the lock using sort of spelling. We had testimony saying the defendant was seriously in debt and I guess she murdered the victim to get a part of her inheritance. Their cases against Beatrice was just as I predicted. I already had a countermeasure to disprove the existence of any motive. All I had to do was present that to the court. Okay, so I guess this one might actually be fairly quick. I don't know why. It's kind of feeling quick. Okay, smear. Wait, this is interesting. No, the fact that conjuration. Frege has conjuration, but I think they said she had illusion.
Objection!
Your Honor, the prosecution's case against my client is riddled with holes, and the prosecution's proposed motive is the largest among them. What do you mean, Mr. Mora? Of all the elements of this case, motive is the most believable. Your client would have had much to gain through her father's inheritance. That may be, but that's assuming my client had anything to inherit at all.
What?
Your Honor, my client fled from her psychologically abusive father 5 years ago. William Frege was a petty and vindictive man. You honestly think that he'd leave his inheritance to someone who disobeyed him so egregiously? No, he'd do everything in his power to make sure she didn't see a shred of his wealth.
Yes, we're already well aware of this.
The moment she slammed her cane down, I noticed her wince a little. She was getting more and more heated. I didn't realize her rivalry with Beatrice was that personal.
On the night of the murder, the victim made the decision to disinherit the defendant. However, his murder deprived him of the opportunity to submit his will to his attorney. This only further proves the defendant's motive. She would have needed to act quickly, lest her father submit the changes to his will.
I'm afraid you're mistaken, Steelwind. William Frege didn't disinherit my client that night. He disinherited my client 5 years ago when she left. I have witnessed testimony from Miriam Frege, William's youngest daughter. By her own admission, her father disinherited my client before she fled the household. That's why she left.
What? She never brought that up during questioning.
Why would she release that information to one of her family's enemies? If you don't believe me, why don't we call her to the stand and ask her ourselves? Wait, is this going to be the thing that screws us over, is the fact that it's like Miriam changes up everything and then never says it's like, no, he was going to disinherit her that night, not 5 years ago.
What have you done, Tamora?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, it's clear we won't get anywhere until we hear from Miriam directly. Bailiff, please escort Miriam Frege to the stand.
Oh gosh, I have to remember Miriam's voice. We're getting so much connections with Case 2, and I'm like, crap, I don't remember any of these voices.
Miriam, is the defense correct? Did your father disinherit Beatrice 5 years ago?
Yes.
And you didn't think it was necessary to share this information with me?
Well, you never asked.
If I recall correctly, you were also tight-lipped during questioning this morning.
The witness had just lost her father. You can hardly expect her to recall every detail that's relevant to his murder.
Which raises a more concerning question. How did you extract this information?
Who knows? I have always had a way with people.
Miriam, please testify to the court about how you found out about Beatrice's inheritance.
Yes, of course.
After my sister's accident, my father said that she was unfit to inherit our noble house. He declared to our family that he would be removing her from his will. It was 5 years ago, but I remember it well. One day, we all woke up and discovered that Beatrice had fled from her home. She left a note from it, and in it, she renounced her name and denounced my father. Are you sure all this happened 5 years ago? Yes. Even now, I remember everything clearly. I see.
Her speech was getting slower, and I could have swore that her words were slurring.
Is this Eris? This feels like it's Eris.
Nightgrave seemed extremely concerned for some reason.
And Leify was with you at this meeting? Yes, she was. However, Leify couldn't have possibly been there.
She was starting to sway as if she couldn't keep her balance. Was this trial getting to her? Hey, are you okay?
Of course,
What? Did you do something to her, Beatrice? By the skilled lord is that No! I've been assuming that Ruby and Aster were gonna die. Are we killing Arya? Bailiff, find anyone capable of healing magic. Escort them to the courtroom immediately. We have Wallace! After some scrambling, a couple healers were able to help Nightgrave stabilize the prosecutor. In all the chaos, I got a glimpse of her. There were deep wounds and lacerations on several parts of her body. She must have used some kind of illusion to hide them, but the mages dispelled it to identify her wounds. They took Steelwind out of the courtroom and on a stretcher, but as they were doing that, she grabbed Nightgrave and wafted something into his ear. A little confused, but he simply nodded and made his way to the witness stand. But not before passing a message on to the bailiff, who seemed equally confused. Mr. Nightgrave, explain yourself. What's going on? Why would Miss Steelwind prosecute if she was so gravely injured? I'm sorry. I wasn't actually here as Miss Steelwind's aide. I was here as her doctor. Her doctor? The truth is that Miss Steelwind was violently attacked at noon today. She was in critical condition, but insisted on prosecuting the case anyways. She showed up at my house and asked me to channel my necromancy to keep her wounds closed during the trial. Good Lord, why didn't she just recuse herself? She must have known. If anyone else tried to prosecute Beatrice, it would have handedly won the trial. Nevertheless, she showed up, and when no one else would, and she did it all despite the risk to her life. It almost made me respect her a little. Anyway, is there any need to prolong this trial, Your Honor? What? Even you must acknowledge how weak the case against my client was. In addition to that, Miriam's testimony shows that my client had nothing to gain from her father's death. Miss Tamora, Miss Steelman has been gravely injured. And you're still only concerned about... The only thing I'm concerned about is seeking justice for my client. Even so, we cannot move forward until we find another prosecutor. And how long do you think that will take, Your Honor? It's been nearly 12 hours since the murder took place. That gives us, 36 hours? After that, every magical trace at the crime scene will fully disappear. But there might be someone. If Steelman had allowed another prosecutor to work this case, we wouldn't be in this situation. Is it gonna end up being us? Is it gonna be Tyrion versus Ruby? Are we going to finally get this? She took a risk and now she has to take the responsibility for that. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? I wasn't completely proud of winning this way, but I wouldn't let an opportunity like this pass me by. The judge was clearly unhappy with this turn of events, but Steelman didn't leave him any choice. Seems there aren't any prosecutors available to immediately take Steelman's place. We'll take a brief recess. After that, I'll deliver my verdict.
Objection!
Yep. Yes. Your Honor, I'm afraid you can't pass a verdict just yet. This is so fascinating. We go from a I want to see them just take defense attorney and just mark it out and just be prosecutor temporarily. I love this, considering that we actually had the opposite happen in Phoenix Wright, where Edgeworth does end up being a temporary defense attorney until Phoenix is out of the hospital, which is I love this. Mr. Cuthbert, what the hell are you doing? I don't know. What I do know is that there was a massive contradiction in Miriam Frega's testimony. Oh my god. Are we... Okay, I'm really liking this. Like, it's taking, like, what we've done in Phoenix Wright previous... At least in the... Like...
Miriam, you're back!
Oh, hello, Laffy. How have you been faring? I heard what happened to Professor Bellwether. I love, like, how we're kind of just taking it and then twisting it. But it's still having that homage feeling. I love it. I'm terribly sorry. That must have been an awful deal for you.
Yes, thank you.
I heard about your independent study with the Crown Prince. Father's extremely proud of you. Why does she look so different than the others? And also, why does Beatrice have a different arcane art? You just scoffed at the obvious lie. It's been so long since you've been back at the manor. I was thinking we could have some tea together in the garden before the guests arrive.
I'm terribly sorry, but I'm already exhausted from the trip here. I think I'd like to rest in my room and prepare for the Lord's Ball tonight.
Okay, but let me know if you change your... Maybe it wasn't even finished before her sister walked past her and entered her room. Severed tie. Oh my gosh. I genuinely was thinking, I'm like, wait, is this one gonna be short? But the entire fact that we're getting so much more deeper into everything. Ugh, I feel so out of place here. Despite my clear issues with Wyvern Road's upper class, I somehow found myself at a party filled with them. Hardly recognized anyone from all the looks I was getting. They clearly recognized me. Why are you in the corner by yourself? I can't believe I let you talk me into coming here. Everyone is... I lost my train of thought. Oh no.
I've been wanting to wear this dress for a while now. What do you think?
Hey,
Oh, it's bad, huh?
Oh my god, is he the kind of person that's like way too obvious about like his like feelings and it's just totally showing? No, you look stunning, beautiful, breathtaking. Several words that came to mind, all of which would be mortifying if I said them out loud. Good. You look good. Oh, I look good. Someone said she had the ability to read my thoughts. No, you're just stupid and wear your, like, thoughts on your fucking sleeve, my guy. She couldn't actually do that, could she? I mean, I had the ability to read people's minds, so logic would dictate that I'm not the only one. What if she could read my mind? What if she was reading it right now? Am I interrupting something? Miss Tamora! Celeste and I quietly stepped away from each other when my mentor suddenly appeared. I wanted to check in on YouTube before we went to meet with the Duke. I spotted Miss Tamora's client following behind her. It was hard to read her. The eye of Horus couldn't glean anything from her mind. Her poise barely shifted. She carried herself with the grace of someone who didn't seem easily rattled. Her expression was calm yet distant. When we made eye contact, it felt like she was just staring through me. This was my first time meeting her, but she still looked familiar for some reason. Hi, I'm Tyrion, Miss Tamora's ward. Extended my hand to shake her. She seemed a little unapproachable. I hoped that I wasn't being too forward. Instead of taking my hand, she clapped her hands together and took a deep breath. I wonder, okay. I'm vaguely remembering, and I did an entire LP for this. I technically did it twice because the first time everything messed up. And nothing saved, and I realized it was my fault. But there's something that it's the entire idea, if someone can't see, sometimes, and again, I don't know how realistic it is, but what the main character was doing in it, she would use Arcane, and if you tapped on something, it would kind of you could briefly see. And I'm wondering if that's what this is, because it seems like she's doing it before she talks, so it's almost kind of seeing for a brief moment, or having an idea of where everything is, and then it's oh, okay, this is what's going on. I don't know. I could be completely wrong in that. What?
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's a bit of a habit of mine.
Oh.
I'm Beatrice. I've heard much about you.
Okay, Beatrice, a mysterious woman who seems to be related to House Frege, one of the 4 family pillars, currently working with Tamora to negotiate some kind of deal for Lynn Frege. She shook my hand before looking to Miss Tamora. I wasn't sure about the details, but my mentor was brokering a deal between Beatrice and William Frege. There were many elements of that which I found puzzling, but my mentor was tight-lipped as always.
We're going to head to Frege's study. Can you two stay out of trouble while we're gone?
Oh, come on! It's not like we go looking for it.
Yet you two always seem to find trouble anyways. Cuthbert, we're in a manor filled with the highest members of nobility. You're going to meet some familiar and unfriendly faces.
Don't worry, we'll keep a low profile, Miss Tamora. So why were you so insistent on accompanying Miss Tamora to the Lord's ball? You know you could tell me anything, right?
Everything that happened in Orane made me think about things. Every noble in the kingdom attends this ball. I thought maybe whoever left me in my family's tavern would be here. But being here is starting to make me feel weird. The McCoys are my real family. Looking for the people who abandoned me feels wrong.
I don't think that's true.
Really?
I wouldn't be the person I am today without Miss Tamora, but I still keep the memory of my mother close to me too. Yeah, but your mom died. And you had distinct memories of her. Celeste has none of that. It's I understand probably the idea of looking for birth parents and things like that, and especially kind of being this is where I came from, but it doesn't have anything to do with who you are now. But I understand getting it, but I don't know. It feels I already have an idea of who because we know that the magic is lineage, it makes sense of where what family she would come from, but I don't think that we'll get it here. But that's just me. I don't think it's disrespectful to find out more about yourself, and I'm sure your mother will understand.
You think so?
I'm sure of it. And I'm also sure of another thing. If I'm with you, I doubt any of the nobles here will want to speak with you. Yeah, I don't want to be rude, but don't worry. I can find something to fill the time.
You're just going to play chess alone somewhere, aren't you?
Maybe.
You really need to learn to talk to other people. Make some new friends or something.
In a room full of nobles.
I'm sure they're not all bad. Arya's pretty great, right? Asked her too.
She had a point, but I was never really one to make small talk with strangers. I looked around the room of nobles. I recognized some of them from news articles I'd read over the years. There were also some people around here who were my age. They must have been children of noble heads. I could approach them. Chances were that one of them would be an arrogant pig. But the thought of everything that could go wrong was paralyzing. Ugh, it's fine. I don't need more friends. I spend most of my time with you anyways. That's enough for me.
Well, I'm going to try to talk to some people.
Yep, I'll see you later. Celeste left to mingle with some of the other partygoers. I was almost envious about how easily she could do that. I really wish I could strike up conversations with random strangers the same way she could. It was fine. She had her strengths and so did I. And that only made me wish I could be there with her. Stop it. She was her own person. She was perfectly capable of handling herself. I would need to find something to pass the time. My hands instinctively went to my satchel. I thought about bringing out my chessboard, but if I did that here, I'd just stand out even more. I should try to find somewhere I can be alone. Oh, we don't have anything that we can do to, like, detect magic. I forgot about that. This place looks pretty quiet, but there aren't any tables anywhere. I could play on the floor. Dog! What the? As I was walking through the hallways of the manor, I suddenly came face to face with a large animal. Before I could realize what I was looking at, the creature quickly scampered away. Did someone leave a door open? I thought about telling someone, but the manor was full of nobles. I was sure that a servant would spot it eventually, and if it wasn't as if anyone would believe me anyway. Either way, it would be best to look for somewhere else to play. I love the fact that we're doing this and we're gonna stumble upon something. Like, we're going to just stumble upon stuff. Continued exploring the manor, found myself in a room with several displays. Looked like a gallery sometime, but it was slightly out of place here. There were a few nobles in the room, but they were all silently appreciating the exhibits. William Frege must have paid a museum to display some historical exhibits at the Lord's Ball. There's a face I haven't seen before. Oh, were the vestments of an archaeologist carrying 2 large satchels crammed with tools, maps, and other instruments. I gave him the weirdest voice, but I never know what to do when it's like, I have nothing to go off of. His hair was white and his skin was wrinkled, but he walked with the youth and spirit of someone who had a much longer life ahead of him. Although all these features were far less notable than the monkey hanging off of his back. Small orangutan lifted his head as he looked at me cautiously. When I looked directly at him, he hid himself behind the old man's shoulder, peeking at me from behind it. I'm Harold Harrison. I'm the curator of this collection. Is that name a pseudonym or something? Nope. The leader of House Haraldson, he appears to be an archaeologist and historian. His noble house owns the Haraldson Hall of History located in Ulmarith. That can't actually be his real name. I see. Wait, as a curator of this museum, he must have known a lot of myths and history. I wondered, how much do you know about the myths and cultures of nations other than Wyverngard? His eyes narrowed, even his monkey eyes see me suspiciously. I know you. Your name's Cuthbert, isn't it? It was never a good sign when someone recognized me. I'm not exactly a friend of nobility. I have to ask why you're here. I'm accompanying my mentor. She has business with someone here. Yeah, I mean rarely, but his stare didn't carry the usual disdain I received from other nobles. I swear on the Scaled Lord, I'm telling the truth. Scaled Lord is not someone whose name you should invoke so lightly. And it sounds like you're telling the truth. I can't help but wonder why you're interested in the other nations, though. Needs to tread carefully. He seemed nice, but he was still a noble. The kingdom scoured any available knowledge on the other nations. It was difficult to find anything on the celestial gods. But I didn't get many opportunities like this. I'm trying to learn more about the celestial gods. That's not something I'd make a habit of telling people, especially someone in your position. I know, but it's been impossible to find any information about them. I really need to find out more. Can you help me?
Oh, I can't exactly say no to such a curious mind. I'll help you the best I can, but don't let anyone know about this. Sharing this information is technically outlawed by the kingdom.
So, what's a historian doing at the Lord's Ball, Lord Harrelson?
Harold.
Oh, okay, Mr. Harold. Harold. Being really stubborn about this, it'd be best to just go with it. My apologies, Harold.
That little Duke of Finance invites my museum up to display it here every year. It's the Haraldson Hall of History, located in the city of Ulmarith. Unfortunately, I don't think his guests appreciate the historical significance of these items. Honestly, I think you're the only person in years who's taken meaningful interest in them.
Sorry, but I really have to ask, is that a monkey riding on your back? Looked at the animal, but he quickly avoided eye contact with me and hid behind Harold's shoulder.
Yes, this is my familiar, Eugene.
Oh, you cast familiar bond with him.
I'm surprised you know about it. It's quite rare. Very few mages take the time to learn how to cast it. Eugene helps me with my day-to-day. These old bones aren't as spry as they used to be, after all.
Harold, what do you know about the celestial gods? I haven't been able to find anything about them. It makes sense. They're primarily worshipped by the people of the theocracy of Lumina. That explains why worship of them was outlawed. Lumina was the kingdom west to us, but I knew very little about them. All I knew was that we fought them during the First War of Wyverngard, and then later during the Great Luminite War. They've been Wyverngard's long-standing enemy for a while. Simply asking about them could raise suspicion of treason.
There are 9 celestial gods, each representing a divine domain in heaven. Deus, Odin, Machina, Horus.
I'm sorry, one of them is named Horus?
Yes, Horus, the Lightbringer. He's a god of radiance and a ruler of the 6th domain in heaven.
I thought I just made the name up when I was younger. Horus was real?
Is something wrong?
No, I was just thinking about what you said.
Could you tell me more about Horus? As I said, he's a god of radiance. The sun and the concept of light lie within his domain. He's also the embodiment of the virtues of truth, justice, and life itself. He is the enemy of lies.
It's a little unnerving how much of a chord that struck with me. It also reminded me of something. Did you mention that naught could remain concealed from him? Did that mention naught could be concealed from him? Yeah.
As some legends claim so. I'll be honest, I only have so many texts available to me. My knowledge of Lumina is limited to their myths, and my requests to travel to Lumina have been denied for decades. There are many stories of his followers being blessed with the ability to see through lies and deception.
Almost as if they had his eyes. It didn't make any sense. I didn't worship Horus. I didn't even know who he was until tonight. Why would he give me this ability? No, I need to think of this more rationally. The mages of Wyverngard supposedly descended from people blessed by the Scaled Lord. Using that logic, could I have descended from people who were blessed by Horus? Are any of his followers established in Wyverngard?
Heavens no, the Luminites are viewed as enemies of Wyverngard. I imagine any known followers would have unfortunate accidents befall them.
I explained why my mother never talked about him with me, but I really wish she left me something.
You've been awfully inquisitive about this. Why are you so interested in Horus and his followers?
It's purely academic curiosity. Clearly wasn't convinced, but he didn't push the matter further. Yeah, we give too much. I guess we leave now? Hold on. It's a crimson red short sword.
That's a sword of spell eating. Legends say that it has the power to nullify any kind of magic.
So it's like an anti-magic field.
In a way, but it's less than heroic origins. It's said that the sword was created through a blood pact between a mage and a demon.
A demon?
Demons are terrible and powerful creatures. They exist solely to sow chaos and oppose the gods. They supposedly took great pride in their ability to deceive and corrupt people. Legends say that most demons have the power to absorb and nullify magic. Many have theorized that a demon imbued some of the power into the sword.
Is it safe to put something like this on display?
Don't worry, these displays are fortified with several aberration spells. I bet even Lord Steelwind would have trouble getting into this.
Okay, see, now it looks better. Like, now it looks like a good, like, it looks like a proper sword with the fact that it's, like, the hilt and, like, all of this is, like, a different color than, like, the actual blade, which is nice. I guess probably they were just like, here's sword, we have to just make it separate. Okay, I guess we gotta look at the other stuff. It's a pair of metallic armbands. There are several magical runes carved into them.
Those are the armbands of intellect. They were actually created by a member of House Frege many centuries ago.
Centuries? I don't mean these armbands predate the invention of artificery.
That's correct. Legend said that whoever wore these armbands would be granted unparalleled levels of intellect. Many believe that House Frege created these to help them unlock the secrets of magic.
It's a painting of some sort of scientist. That man is Mr. Tyrion Cuthbert.
He was an alchemist and an inventor from the nation of Arcane. He is well known for his studies into imbuing intelligence into automatons.
Intelligent automatons? Would that make them similar to arcane constructs?
Yes, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if Lord Von Sanctus used Mr. Cuthbert's research to create those constructs.
Doubt he even created them. He seemed to be importing all of them from Arcane and taking credit for their work. It's a painting of a researcher.
That's Professor Matt Harlan. He was a professor of some renown. He was a researcher in combinatorial magic theory.
What's that?
This is the study of how different types of magic interact with each other. He famously ran an experiment on what would happen if two anti-magic fields overlapped each other.
It's actually pretty interesting. What were the results of the experiment?
Well, they had mages enter the space when the two fields overlapped. It turned out those mages were able to use their magic in that space. Wait, how could that be possible? They would have had 2 anti-magic fields affecting them. When the 2 fields overlap, they cancel each other out. I hear that's akin to multiplying 2 negative numbers together.
Okay, that's interesting. The fact that it's like, okay, so if you had the anti-magic, so if there was another anti-magic field with this, then someone would still be able to use magic, even if they had this sword, which is really fascinating. It's a pair of golden earrings. There were small jewels embedded into each of them.
I call them the Earrings of Vitality. They're an artifact I found in the ruins of a large Luminite temple. Whoever wears these would have their lifespan increased tenfold.
I'm sure it's just a legend, though. Did you read that from some ancient text?
Not exactly.
I didn't even know there were Luminite temples in Wyverngard.
Almost all of them have been completely destroyed by the kingdom over the years. A lot of Wyverngard's territories once belonged to the theocracy. The kingdom would rather have everyone forgot that.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't think there's anything else that we can do. My attention was drawn to the Earrings of Vitality. There was supposedly an artifact from the ancient days of the theocracy. Harold, would it be okay if I took a closer look at these earrings? I promise I'll be careful with them.
I suppose I can make an exception this time.
Lord Harrelson walked up to the display case and whispered something as a ruined console attached to it. I heard several magical locks disengage before he opened the display case and carefully pulled out the artifact. I laid my hands out so he could delicately place them in my hands. I carefully inspected the earring. Each of them had a golden frame with red luminous stone embedded in the center. They gleamed brightly under the artificial lights of the gallery, almost abnormally so. Wait, there's something engraved in these earrings. What? I could barely make out the text engraved on the golden frame. It was nearly microscopic. I lie at the beginning of illumination. I lie within eternity, and I cannot be found in shadows. What am I? A riddle? Oh no, I'm not good at riddles. I don't remember. I'm gonna assume it's this. I lie at the beginning of illumination. I lie within eternity, and I can't be found in the shadows. Okay, so something radiance. Maybe. I'm not good at these. I'm really not. Oh wait, at the beginning. Where's creation? Oh, God. I'm not good at these. Oh my gosh, and I feel like... Oh, come on. I'm not good at these. I'm gonna have to, like, brute force this or look it up because I'm not good. Okay, lie at the beginning of illumination. I lie within eternity, and I cannot be found in shadows. Yes, I know. Just give me the answer. Like, I'm thinking it's something creation. Gosh, I'm gonna have to go back. Oh. It's the letter. I hate riddles so much. Illumination starts with the eye, eternity contains eye, and there's no eye in shadows. Earrings suddenly lit up, blinding light washing over the gallery. I felt the ground disappear from under me. It felt like I was floating in water. I should have been shocked or surprised, but the sensation somehow felt familiar and nostalgic. You strayed far from home, little one. A voice rang out from all around me. It's like bells ringing and reverberating in my head. You're not much of a warrior, but maybe a warrior isn't what's needed to dispel the encroaching shadows. The light within you, why is it so reminiscent of my fallen friend? What are you talking about? Who are you? I suppose it doesn't matter which spark that flame came. It burns bright within you, like that of a burning star. Go forth and walk the path of radiance, my heavens born. Oh, we got magic now. Is that our magic? A divine invocation to manifest any covenant written in blood and spirit. All will be revealed whether said covenant was forged in heaven or hell. Do we have magic now?
Mr. Cuthbert, are you okay?
What just happened? All I did was blink. I suddenly found myself back at the gallery as if awoken from a dream.
You were just standing there, staring at nothing. Didn't you see that blinding light? There was that loud noise, too. I didn't see anything. May I see those earrings?
Right, of course.
I don't see the engraving you were talking about.
I know it's small, but it's right. As I took another look at the earrings, I realized the riddle had disappeared. The golden frame was smooth and embellished, as if the text had never been there. What? Was I just seeing things?
I doubt you hallucinate such a specific riddle. Am I being pranked? And someone from the Historical Society put you up to this.
No! It was... What was going on? Did that riddle have something to do with the Eye of Horus? I hope Celeste's investigation was going better than mine.
Yeah, but I think we learned magic.
How dare you insinuate such a thing?
I wasn't trying to insult you. I just... Enough.
If you try to speak with me again, I'll arrest you. I'll have you arrested for harassment. The noblewoman stormed off in a huff. Celeste just let out an exhausted sigh. Every conversation she tried hadn't gone any differently.
This isn't working. I don't think asking them like that will be very effective. What? Did you expect anyone here to be truthful with you? You're essentially asking them if they engaged in adultery. Oh, hey, Arya. I'm surprised to see you here. You're not party crashing, are you?
Of course not. I came here with Ruby and Tyrion.
That honestly just raises more questions, but I'll take your word for it. I don't know if it's any of my business, but you should think about whether this is what you truly want. What? I understand wanting to find more about yourself, but getting entangled in the aristocracy will only bring you misery. I should know.
I just want to know more about where I came from.
It might help me understand all this weirdness inside me. I don't think you're weird at all. I quite enjoy your company.
Oh, really?
I'm sure Mr. Cuthbert feels the same way. Really? Is something wrong?
No, it's just that. Actually, what do you think about Tyrion, Arya?
Well, he's a remarkable attorney. His deduction skills are incredible. Frankly, I'm a little envious of his talent. I'm loath to admit that Ruby Tamora has taught him well. I meant as a person, Arya. I only know him in a professional capacity.
But don't you notice about how much he cares about people?
I suppose he is quite dedicated to his job.
It's not just a job to him. He really cares about his clients and helping them. It doesn't matter how much danger he puts himself in. It doesn't matter who threatens him. He just keeps going, and it's honestly kind of annoying. He won't back down from anyone, even the Four Pillars. Ever since he indicted Pierce, someone has been sending people into Tyrion's home. I'm good at my job, but I'm worried I'm gonna slip up one day and let him seriously get hurt.
I am sorry about that. I wish I could do more to help you with that.
It's fine. It's my responsibility to protect him.
Have you ever told him about how worried you've been?
I don't want to stop him from doing what he's doing, and I don't think he'd even listen if I did. That's what makes him who he is. He's helping a lot of people. He inspires them too. He's amazing and courageous and caring and sweet and...
Celeste?
No! I don't know. Things have been really weird since Torine.
I've been meaning to ask about that. Did something happen during Draken's trial?
Oh, Celeste. We kind of slept together.
For marriage?
No,
not like that.
we just slept in the same bed and held hands.
But for marriage?
Are we doing the holding hands before marriage joke? Because if we are, I'm hoping that there are some little thing, like these little things like this, that are intentional, and it just makes it 10 times funnier.
What? I suppose everyone has different levels of libido, but you shouldn't be so reckless.
Arya, I'm not going to get pregnant from holding Tyrion's hand.
Even so, I'm not sure what kind of woman you think I am. I do not wish to indulge in your lecherous tales of illicit handholding.
Oh my god, I wish I could. I'm very tempted because it's not out yet. I'm very tempted to rename that episode Illicit Handholding. But I might. I'm like you've never wanted to hold Aster's hand or anything like that. I would never. I only have the utmost respect for him. Come on, I was there at the refinery. It's obvious you like him like that.
Please, you're grossly exaggerating things.
And what if I told you he was standing right behind you?
Do you honestly think I'd fall for such an obvious lie?
What are you falling for? I'm so happy about just the absolute buffoonery of this like all the relationships and all that. It's kind of great. Arya's entire body whipped around to face her fiance. She almost tripped and stumbled backwards. Her voice started to break into a soft, high-pitched whimper.
Your Highness.
Celeste noticed how Arya's eyes were frequently darting between the Crown Prince's face and his hair. Oh no, she's being seduced into wanting to hold his hand. Celeste has corrupted her.
Oh, hello, Lady Steelwind.
Your Highness, please don't run ahead like that. After my otherworldly encounter, I decided to head back to the ballroom and wait for Celeste. Then when I find a seat somewhere and it gave me a chance to think over what had happened. I solved some sort of riddle that mentioned illumination and shadows. Horus was also the god of light, and those earrings were of Luminian origin. Did my eye of Horus react to them? Please tell me we aren't saying this out loud. I swear to God, Tyrion, if you were mumbling to yourself, I might beat the shit out of you. Did my eye of Horus react to them? Lord Harrelson probably owned those earrings for years, yet he didn't see anything. And then there was this... Actually, I have no idea what this divine edict was. Is this a prayer? A riddle? An ability? A divine invocation to manifest any covenant written in blood and spirit. What did this even mean? It sounded like some flowery nonsense from the church that the Church of Bahamut would say. If it was some kind of spell, it was nothing like the arcane spells I'd seen in compendiums. The description of those spells were far more straightforward. I just felt like the more I learned about myself, the more questions I found. Lord, how long have I been staring at that girl? I just locked onto the first thing across the room, but it was clear she noticed me looking at her. I quickly looked away, but as I glanced back, she tried to flash me a friendly smile. She didn't look offended, which was a relief. I imagine any normal noble would use this as an excuse to have me thrown out. Actually, she seemed to be the only person in the room who wasn't disgusted by my presence. Maybe Celeste was right. I needed to learn how to approach new people, and fate was giving me an opportunity. As I walked across the room, several nobles gave me a side-eye. She was surrounded by several attendants who moved to stop me from approaching her. However, she waved her hand to dismiss them. That was a good sign. Her attendants seemed to disapprove, but they didn't raise any objections and left quietly. On a closer look, she seemed to be a noble woman of some renown, but she seemed to exhibit a modesty that most aristocracy lacked. She was actually quite beautiful. Not as beautiful as Celeste, but... Oh, what was I thinking? I shouldn't be objectifying them like that. I need to keep my thoughts clearer. I couldn't just... I realized I was standing in front of her, silently having this conversation with myself. She looked confused. I needed to say something. How did normal people talk? Should I say a formal greeting, or would that just come off as pretentious? Maybe I should say something more casual, like Celeste would. Maybe I can make some kind of observation to connect with her somehow. Come on, Tyrion, just say something. I'm hoping the writing is intentional. Hey, my fellow blonde, what's going on? This memory would haunt me for the rest of my life.
Hello?
I cleared my throat. I'm sorry I was staring. I was just daydreaming, I guess.
Oh, that's okay.
I wasn't staring at you. That's not to say I wouldn't intentionally stare at you. Tyrion, what the hell are you saying? She's gonna think you're a psychopath. Recalibrate, change the subject. Social interactions occur for the sake of engaging individuals in activities. What activities would someone do at the Lord's Ball? Oh no, he's gonna ask her to dance and then Celeste is gonna get like real jealous. Oh no. Would you like to dance? Tyrion, you don't know how to dance.
Okay.
Please.
Hey, Aster. What do you think of Arya's dress?
It suits you quite well, Arya. You look lovely.
Gross.
And I must say, Miss Sequoia, I'm surprised to see you here. How did you get an invite to the Lord's Ball?
I'm just tagging along for one of Ruby's jobs.
Oh, that explains why Mr. Cuthbert is here as well.
Oh, Tyrion's back. Where is he?
Her eyes scanned the ballroom until she found Tyrion dancing with another woman.
Who the hell is that?
Oh, I believe that's Lady Frigga. That's strange. She usually rebukes most men who approach her.
Oh, she does she? I guess Tyrion's special for some reason. Never told me he could dance.
Or stumbling across the dance floor.
I
love the humor in this game. I really do. The Crown Prince watches Tyrion step on Lady Freyga's toes several times. I don't think he actually can.
What would a Freyga want with Tyrion? She's up to something. Arya, what do you know about her?
Arya was still staring blankly at the Crown Prince. Looked like she was running through several calculations in her head, but failing to arrive at anything. Ugh. Another misstep caused me to step on her foot. I'm so sorry. I don't do this a lot. Or at all.
It's okay. At least you're...
She winced in pain as I accidentally kicked her foot again. It almost felt like I was slowly chipping away at that considerate smile on her face.
Perhaps you should follow my lead.
I carefully looked downwards, watching to make sure I didn't accidentally parry her foot with mine. It honestly made it easier. Looking at her face presented its own distraction. I'm Tyrion, by the way.
Yes, I'm aware. You've been in the papers a lot recently.
Oh?
I'm Leify, of House Freyga.
Oh! A middle child, she seems to be conflicted between her father's death and Beatrice's arrest for her murder. She seems such kind of a mirror. It's hard to believe they grew up in the same home.
She looks noticeably different than the others, I'm going to say.
Of all the people I could have approached, I chose someone from the Four Pillars family. She didn't seem too bothered. Why would she agree to dance with me? She knew who I was.
I'm sorry for not bringing it up sooner. I can imagine if you wouldn't want to associate with someone like me.
No, it's just that I had a run-in with your sister a few months ago. And I don't think she cares for me that much.
It sounds like we have something in common.
Before she could finish that thought, she suddenly froze. I was tripped as I avoided stepping on her foot again. She was staring wide-eyed at something behind me. Her breathing was quickening, and her hands began to squeeze my shoulder. I turned and looked and saw Beatrice storming through the ballroom.
Is that... I'm terribly sorry. I have to go.
Without another word, she quickly left, hurrying after Beatrice. Did the two of them know each other?
Did you get snubbed?
Oh, thank the Scale Lord, someone I actually know.
So, what was that? Or who was that?
She wore her usual approachable smile, but I could have sworn something about her tone was louder than usual. I was trying to talk to people. Isn't that what you told me to do?
Yeah, but I didn't mean you should shoot your shot with a Freyga. You're gonna tell me how you pulled that off?
Do I have to?
Yes.
Sit down.
Sit down. I snuck you some bread rolls from the buffet.
Oh, have you tried them? They're amazing.
Yeah.
It really is you. Where have you been all this time, Beatrice? We've been so worried about you. Really?
It appears that you have much to talk about. I'll be taking my leave. Oh, wait! Wait! Aster was engaged to Beatrice, right?
I thought for some reason it was Miriam, but I guess it was Beatrice. Arya. He is smitten with you, Arya. It's okay. I've known for a while, but I still can't believe it. You're actually marrying her, aren't you? You didn't leave me much choice. As the future king of Wyverngard, I have responsibilities. I doubt you would know anything about that.
When did you suddenly start caring so much about responsibility?
I have always done what I've had to for the people of Wyverngard.
I barely even recognize you anymore.
I'd certainly hope so, considering what I was like back then. I've always done what was necessary to stay in control. What you're doing to Arya, it's... I know, but she's willing to put aside her disdain from you for the sake of Wyverngard. Two idiots. Technically, it's 4 if we include Tyrion and Celeste, but right now, for this sake, it's 2. I really thought... Okay, I'm not gonna lie when it said, but what you're doing to Arya. I got real nervous that he was doing some sort of mind manipulation. I got very nervous, and I was like, Aster?
9 hells, do you seriously still not? Never mind. Seems that you're just as much of an oaf as you were before.
And your words still have such a unique way of cutting into me like a knife. I oddly miss that. Beatrice just scoffed at that. Oh my god, please say it again. I really don't want to.
Come on. The look on your face just gets better each time.
Hey, my fellow blonde. What's going on? So she starts snickering to herself again. She starts slamming her fists on the table, drawing some looks from the aristocrats nearby. I can't believe it.
I guess any line will work when it comes from you.
I'm just glad it's over. I looked like an idiot out there.
Hey, it's not over yet. You owe me a dance.
What?
Don't be like that. How often do we get to go to a party like this?
Before I had a chance to object, she grabbed my hand and started dragging me to the middle of the dance floor. Celeste, people are staring at us.
Who cares? They're nobles. They're gonna hate us no matter what we do.
She took hold of my hand and pulled me into a waltz. Celeste, I have no idea what I'm doing.
It's easy. Just stop being so awkward about this.
That was easy for her to say. All right, can you at least tell me what to do?
Well, first, you need to be closer to me.
With one swift motion, she pulled my body closer to hers. I don't remember being this close when I danced with Leafy.
Yeah, well, I'm not Leafy. Watch where I'm going and follow my lead.
You seem to know a lot about these things.
I had to do a lot of networking when I was a mercenary. You know how many times I had to charm a merchant into hiring me?
I see.
Tyrion, where are you staring?
I carefully watched the movement of her feet and tried to match them. After a while, we both fell into a gentle rhythm. I accidentally stepped on her foot, but she didn't seem to react at all. Was she being polite, or did she genuinely not feel any pain? You're getting it, but don't focus so much on where your feet are. Just look at me. What?
Come on, look up.
Why is this sideways? It's very slanted, and I don't know why. I finally looked up at her, and she smiled back at me. It was embarrassing being this close, but every time I avoided her eyes, I found myself being drawn back into them.
Ah, there he is, the infamous Tyrion Cuthbert. He never turns away from challenging a noble, but he can't dance a step to save his life.
I'm starting to become lightheaded for some reason. Was I sweating too much? I really hope it wasn't visible. Every part of my body was tense, but I didn't want to break away from her. There's accompanying warmth behind all of this. Things were always different with her. I let myself relax a bit more and continue matching her movements.
See? There you go. But...
What is it?
You know the man is supposed to lead, right?
Maybe I don't subscribe to gender stereotypes. Yes.
Or maybe you just suck at this.
Forgot what it was like to let go like this. I always felt like there was something to prepare for, a client that needed saving, a killer that needed catching. You've done 3 cases. Granted, you've been working with Ruby a lot longer, but you make it seem like you were I'm 2 months away from retirement. You've had 3 cases. And so caught up in trying to learn more about the Eye of Horus, I was ignoring other things I'd been having. I took a deep breath. Can we talk about what happened in Orne?
Oh.
I felt her arm tense around my shoulder. It was weird, wasn't it? Us sleeping. I just love the fact that it's we held hands and slept in the same bed, but they're just no, we slept together. Or, I mean, I know we didn't sleep together, but I was nailing this. I was absolutely nailing this.
No, I get it. It wasn't exactly professional.
Yes, exactly. It was very unprofessional of me. Even if it was an accident, I'm worried that I overstepped my boundaries as your employer.
Well, Ruby's my employer. You're different.
Different? How?
She seemed to think about it for a moment before she sighed to herself. I guess you're the only person who doesn't treat me like a monster.
Because you're a mage?
Come on, Tyrion. You've seen me fight. I know you're just being polite about it, but it's off-putting, right?
It really isn't. What are you talking about?
Really? It doesn't freak you out whenever I beat up a crowd of thugs in an alleyway? Or how about last night when I ragdolled that thief trying to break into your house?
I was honestly more impressed by that than anything else.
Stop being nice about it. I know, it's not normal. Sometimes something inside me really enjoys fighting. I love it, but I also hate it. Every time someone's seen me fight, they start looking at me like I'm some kind of bloodthirsty freak. My parents used to look at me like that sometimes.
I'm really sorry if I've ever looked at you like that.
That's the worst part. You haven't. I never know what you're really thinking. You always charge headfirst into danger without a second thought. This whole kingdom is rotting with corruption. I don't get how you could be so hopeful and optimistic all the time. I really admire you for that, but sometimes it feels too good to be true. Makes me wonder what's really going on inside your head.
You're really passionate about protecting the people you care about. When you fight, I see someone who cares deeply. You love the people around you so much that you're driven to stop anyone who threatens them. You make it all look so effortless. I don't think I've ever met anyone as strong as you. I thought you were always proud of that. It's one of the things I've always admired about you. I saw a small curl on her lips as her face became flushed. You know the truth about me. I'm not some idealistic hero. I'm just a dumb, traumatized kid who thinks he can save everyone. Both stayed silent for a while, simply moving to the beat of the music.
Tyrion, I don't mind being unprofessional with you.
That's good.
But only if you're okay with that. Would you be okay with things like that?
I wasn't certain about what she meant, or why she suddenly switched to the present tense. Was she trying to imply that she also wanted to? No, I couldn't rush for it before I had more evidence. I needed to be tactful. And vague. Well, I appreciate some level of professionalism in my work, but with you, or that is to say, I'd like to attempt. That's not how I want to say it. I don't want to be I don't only want to be What am I even saying? That's not to say I don't not want to only be professional with you. Okay, good. It's him stumbling over his words and me trying to learn how to read.
What?
Scaled Lord, I just needed to say what I wanted to say. I've never felt this way about someone before.
Oh?
I don't know how to navigate this, but I want to. If you're Oh, so they finally become a couple here, and then Ruby is pissed about it because she's had her like suspicions about, or like she's been kind of like wary of Celeste. I'm wondering if that's it. Could we try? Suddenly heard the footfalls of several knights behind me. Celeste's eyes widened, her lips pursed. Confused, I began to turn my head to see what the commotion was, but she just grabbed me by the chin. Hey, why don't you finish that thought first? Beatrice Frega. Did you just say Beatrice Frega? I think something's happening.
Nope, it's just Storm. Turns out he's an absolute monster on the dance floor.
Well, that just made me want to look more. By the authority of the Wyvern Guard crown, you're under arrest.
Seriously, now?
We should go see what's happening.
Yeah.
You're completely out of line, Commander. I thought I told you to stand down.
Do you not recognize who you're speaking to?
Oh, that's his little brother. I mean, I realized they were probably related, but we just got his name now.
Let go of Lady Frega.
I can't really do that, Your Highnesses. So we approached Beatrice. We saw the two princes standing behind the Inquisition and Beatrice. Your Highness, what's going on? Crown Prince scanned the room. Everyone's eyes were on him. He leaned towards me in a hushed whisper. It's William Frega. He was found murdered in his study. And these cretins think that Beatrice is behind it somehow. Sorry, Your Highness. My orders came straight from Steelwind.
Lady Steelwind sent you?
Beatrice cursed under her breath and clapped her hands together. I should go with them.
What? No!
My brother is right. They have no right to.
We're causing a scene, and I don't want to cause friction between you and Arya. She's always been meticulous. I'm sure she's just being careful. I'm sure I'll be exonerated once they thoroughly investigate what happened.
Okay.
What? You can't just let them take her away.
Brother, she's correct. It is not our place to interfere with the laws of our kingdom. However, yes, Your Highness. Miss Beatrice is blind. One of your soldiers will need to escort her. She's what? Okay. Oh yeah, because like she knew before she anyways, we're going to take you to a holding cell, lady. One of you should stay with her and guide her through.
Please, I'm not a child.
Beatrice walked past the knights and towards the foyer. It appeared to Sherry knew her way out. Shouldn't you all be following her? Right, Inquisition, move out. Seemed to be just my luck that a night like this would end in a murder. What the hell was going on? And that is going to be it for the first episode into Severed Ties. I am incredibly intrigued. I think this is going to be fun and fascinating. And I hope y'all enjoy. And come back for more. You know, you can always subscribe if you want. That will help you see it whenever you want. And you don't have to worry about YouTube's algorithm just being like, nah, we're not going to show this ever again. You saw the first one, and it's like, we're not going to show you the second one. But, like, you know, you subscribe, it helps. We're going to try doing this. But I will see y'all next time for more Tyrion Cuthbert. Bye.